Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Gary, you Garrick. Those of you probably don't know me, don't care to know me, doesn't fucking matter. I wanted to talk to you guys about cryptocurrency. Um, there's some people that believe in cryptocurrency. There's some people that think it's a big scam. But hey, it's one of those things where you really got to do your own research. And crypto can be really good. Like, for instance, about 4 years ago, somebody bought a very small amount of a coin called Shiba Inu. And it was, I want to say it was like $100, maybe more, a little bit. And the coin had like 10 zeros at the time, before its whole number. So it was like 10 zeros and then, like, we'll say a 1. And in October of 21, it dropped like 4 or 5 of those zeros right off the chop. And that $100 investment, which netted them trillions of coins, made them a millionaire. So, and this also happened with another coin recently called Pepe, as in Pepe the Frog. Um, if you happen to look it up, it's the tokens usually have pictures associated with them. And this one, at the time I purchased it, it was wearing a hat that said "Make memes great again," because they're called meme tokens. Well, I wanted to tell you about a token that I bought into recently. Now, token supply can affect price heavily, and also the utility of the token. So, for instance, Bitcoin, right? If anybody remembers when Bitcoin was coming around, there was restaurants that were willing to take Bitcoin, and back in the day, somebody spent 10,000 Bitcoin on a pizza, for instance, right? Well, you know what that 10,000 Bitcoin is worth today? $30,000 per coin, if not more. I haven't checked the market. I think it's probably like 34 or 33,000 a coin. Imagine that times 10,000. That's what, 10,000 Bitcoin for a Papa John's pizza. And if I remember correctly, it was Papa John's. Today, even if they had to sit on it for 10 years, is worth, an insane amount of money. I mean, come on. It's like you got $33,000 times 10,000. That's $330 million for a pizza. That's probably the world's most expensive pizza. But there's other tokens. There's ones like XRP. There's some that are based off of some of the cartoons we grew up on, like Scooby, Winnie the Pooh, which is just called Pooh, Pooh. Then the Shiba Inu, which is based on the dog. But there's a token I bought into recently, and it's not even been circulating a month, and it's called Vegas Inu, and its symbol is V as in Victor, I as in Ice, T as in Tom. And when I bought in basically at launch, and I purchased 176 million coins. It was about $50 at the time. Within a week, that $50 turned into $300. Now, I didn't cash out. Some people, take their profits and they run. I decided to sit on it. And then, some people got their profit and then they got out. So it had a high of like 5 zeros and a 2. And so that's like was it 20,000 or 2,000ths of a penny. And when people start selling, the price drops. So it's down to 5 zeros and a 1.5. So you can see how the market can change. However, a lot of as I said, price is based on supply. And tonight, and over actually the course of since the coin's been active, there were 1 trillion coins in circulation. And now you're thinking, oh my God, that's a trillion coins. It's a lot. It is. It is. There are some tokens that have like quadrillion supply. And they are tokens that really just, they don't have a purpose. Um, you know, some tokens are just people want to make a token, and it gets assigned a market value based on how many people buy in. The token can go somewhere, nowhere, anywhere. It's really, how it's put together. But the token in general that I purchased onto was the Vegas Inu token, has burned 3 billion tokens since it's been active. Now, that's 0.3% of the supply. Now, most people are like, well, it's nothing, 3 billion tokens. Well, think about this. What started as a trillion tokens, now there's only 997 billion tokens. And tonight alone, they burned 520 million tokens. 520 million tokens just wiped off the planet. They will never be available again. And Vegas Inu is a hyperdeflationary token. And if you don't know what that means, I don't want to get into the gist of explaining it. Even I grasp the concept of it took me a while to understand the concept behind it, but it's actually something you should do your research on. But hyperdeflationary tokens tend to help the market and the price. Now, there's something else this token does, and it gives what's called reflection. So every time something's burned, you get like a 2% increase into your wallet quantity. So, for instance, recently I bought another $50 worth, but the price was higher. So it only netted me about, I want to say about 60 million tokens. So I'm sitting on about 230 million total. But those reflections, I get 2% of every burn to my wallet, which is kind of cool. But again, I'm not a financial expert. Crypto, I'll be honest with you, I probably have 1,000, maybe a little over 1,000 invested across 15 to 20 different crypto coins. And some are doing really well, and some are just not doing so well. I mean, sometimes you buy a dud, and then that's it. You just hope you didn't go too crazy. Honestly, on some of my dud tokens, I'm not going to be losing more than $50. So the thing with crypto is don't put in what you're not willing to lose. But with the recent surge of Bitcoin, and they expect the price of Bitcoin to go up because the SEC was involved in a lawsuit with a couple of firms to prevent them from getting an ETF, which would allow crypto to be traded on the stock exchange in some form. And they had a case, they lost the case, the SEC appealed it, they lost again, appealed it again, lost again, and basically they just gave up. And now what it's doing is showing people that crypto is going to grow and grow. And now what the SEC has to do is approve this ETF so they can launch it on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, I don't know when that's going to be. A lot of people are saying January. I don't know. I mean, it could be tomorrow for all I know. I mean, it's not going to be tomorrow, but it's everybody seems to be saying January, so we're looking like January is the day or the month. If that happens, there's a good chance crypto could go even higher, and what they're calling a bull run. So crypto's been in what's called a bear market right now, so the prices have been all over the place, mostly on the downside. But just a couple of days earlier this week, Bitcoin went from $25,000 a coin to $35,000. Well, just short of $35,000. So it gained $10,000 per coin in price inside of almost 24 hours. And that's awesome. And certain other coins just shot up. So here's the thing. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I am just giving you my opinion and telling you about one of the tokens I have. And what I may start doing is telling you about all the tokens that I have and where they've been performing. But, for instance, when I bought into Vegas Inu, I bought in with $50. And today with what's in my wallet, it's worth about $345. So that's almost 7 times my original investment in a month. I mean, people are like, well, that's not a big deal. Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, it may not sound like a lot, but 7 times your original investment being returned in a month, that's usually not heard of. But, again, a token can go and completely crash. But if you want to learn more about the tokens, this is a meme token, this Vegas Inu. So you can go on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and look up Vegas Inu token, and you can follow them. They also have a website, VegasInuToken.com. And there's a guy who's one of the developers or on the development team. His name's December DeMarco. He has a YouTube channel. He's been given live updates. In fact, he was on live until about 10 minutes ago talking about the burn they just did. So something to consider, something to look into. And, if you decide to get in, don't, sit there and say, oh, I'm going to throw $1,000 or $2,000 in and then get upset if you end up losing your investment. I mean, you can sit on it as long as you want, but there's a good chance that whatever token you buy could be a dud. Right now, the tokens that are known to, at least hold value are the original Bitcoin. There's a coin called Ethereum. There's a BNB, which is the Binance Smart Chain token. That's worth like $200 a coin. Ethereum is about $1,800 a coin. And then there's some smaller tokens that aren't memes, but are going to have some kind of a value in the system. Like there's this token called XRP. And right now I think it's worth 55 cents a coin. Well, the plan is that for European banks to use XRP as a transfer token to help move money around. And if that gets approved, that could cause the price of XRP to skyrocket. There's some people that'll sit there and say, oh, this token's going to go to $1 next week. Let me put it this way. So when I got in about a year ago, there was a guy on YouTube that kept posting every day, Shiba Inu to $1, Shiba Inu to $1. He was creating FOMO, which is fear of missing out. And people were, they were going and buying it, but then they dump it because the token wasn't really doing anything. And he just kept making these videos. And then he started his own crypto. And his own crypto, his development team blew up, and one of them cashed out and took a huge chunk of money. And the token is pretty much DOA. It's dead on arrival. And I have, I think, 8 or 9 million of them, but they're essentially worthless. But I think at the time I spent, $12 when I bought them. Hell, I've lost more money at a casino. But the idea is will the token have a purpose? So some of these tokens get wrapped into payment systems. Some of these tokens get wrapped into other utilities that can allow them to thrive and be useful. And the more useful of a token, the better it is for it to rise in value. So Shiba Inu, for example, the price at the high point was 4 zeros and an 8. So 8/100ths of, or 8,000ths of a penny. And people are like, ooh, that just doesn't sound like a lot. Yeah, but if you bought in it, 100,000ths or 1,000,000th of a penny, do you realize what that's worth when it drops all those zeros? That's, there was one day I went to buy a token that was new, and it had literally no market value at the time. I think it was market value was $4, and I went in and I put $5 in MetaMask that I'm going to use $5 of Ethereum to buy this token. It wouldn't let me finish the transaction because I would have bought out the entire supply. So yeah, that's good. I would own all the tokens, but the problem is if there's no tokens to sell, the value doesn't go up. So, but the token ended up being a dud, and in the end, I think I spent $1, and I ended up with like a good chunk of the supply, almost 2 to 3 million or trillion of the tokens, and I think there was, if I remember correctly, 10 trillion total. But that, it happens. I mean, there's times I've bought into tokens that have just launched. Like, there's a site I can go to and a token can launch in the next 10 seconds and you could buy into it. Can you make money off of it? Depends. Is it marketed correctly? Does anybody know about it? Is somebody just creating it so they can say, hey, I have a crypto token? I mean, we'd all like to have our own crypto token, but not always going to happen. Anyways, but what I do recommend is, this Vegas Inu token, go check it out, and see what you think of it. Look at the charts, and you'll see that it started low and then it shot up, and this is all within a month. And then, you decide, do you want to throw in $10? $10 might only get you, give me a minute here, brain's not working. Get you about 1 million tokens, a little over 1 million tokens. But if that token price drops 3 of the 5 zeros it currently has, well, now you've got 1 million tokens at 1/100th of a penny. If it goes to 1/10 of a penny or a penny, what's 1 million pennies? It's $10,000 off a $10 investment. Now, will Vegas Inu go to a penny? I don't know. Could be. It's very hard to get to a penny when you're buried in the zeros. It can take some time. Like, for instance, all these guys that said Shiba Inu is going to do a penny, it's going to go to $1. Yeah, do you know when the prediction is? It's going to be probably, I'll be dead before that'll happen because there's just way too many tokens. So finding coins that have very little supply, like one of the ones I bought recently was WSM, which is called Wall Street Memes. There's only 2 billion. So, and I hold 2.4 million of them. And as that's going up, at some point I'm going to just cash out. And when I cash out, I'll be honest, nobody's ever going to see me again. You're never going to, I will never show up in the news. I won't show up on Facebook. I'll be living in a house with a moat around it, packed with sharks and alligators and a drawbridge and cannons and all kinds of crap. I mean, these are dreams, but I wouldn't make that much money that I could do all that, but I'd make enough money that I could disappear for a long time. And playing my cards right, I could take some of that and reinvest it into other cryptos. And as they go up, even 10 or 15%, take a quick cash out, rinse, repeat, But again, it's something to look into, but it's real. There are people that have made real money. Somebody tonight bought $1,000 worth of Vegas Inu, and that $1,000 could net them millions if Vegas Inu drops a couple more zeros. But this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It sounds like it, but it isn't. And don't expect when you get in that, you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to have millions of dollars. Because what you have to remember is if the token value goes up, you still have to sell the token back or convert it. It's called swapping. So you have to buy a token called Binance, BNB, to buy Vegas Inu, for example. And then you trade the BNB to get the Vegas Inu. Now, if the Vegas Inu shoots up in value, you then have to go back into your wallet, this MetaMask or whatever, and because it's not on what's centralized exchanges, so you won't find it on Coinbase and things like that. Because these are newer tokens. Newer tokens take a while, and there's a lot of fees associated with the developers trying to get them onto those sites. But going back, you got to wake up, and if you find that the market, exploded, and it's dropped 4 of the 5 zeros, which puts it at a penny. You've got to take your inventory. So say you have 200 million, right? So 1% of 200 million is what? 2 million. So I could be wrong on that, but it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Whoops. Sorry. I'm normally good at math when I'm wide awake, but today I'm like, I am just not functional the way I should be. Yeah, I was right. $2 million. So, so say Vegas Inu shoots up to a penny, and you have what I hold. That's $2 million. Now you've got to take that inventory, that 220 million Vegas Inu tokens, and you then have to go into your wallet program, MetaMask or whatever, and you have to now convert it back to Binance. And then you have to then bridge it to draw it out and move it to your bank account. It'll take a couple days because the transfers have to be confirmed. And, crypto's not regulated, and, everything's a risk, but even the stock market's a risk. But, wouldn't it be nice, think about it, but don't get it dwelled on, to put $10 into something and have it turn into $1 million? Or hell, if it even turned into $10,000. I mean, what would that $10,000 do for you? But it's something, don't think crypto's fake. Crypto is not fake. It is a real thing. There's a real community, man. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that swarm around this. But something to look into. And I would say if you're going to get in to these meme coins, which are, the cheapest to buy to get a larger quantity for your wallet. Of course, I got the hiccups. Pepe, P-E-P-E, and the frog's wearing that Make Memes Great Again, so it looks like a MAGA hat. Shiba Inu, yes, it's like the dog. Vegas Inu. And there's another one called Bad AI. Its symbol is BAD. And then there's Volt Inu, V-O-L-T Inu, which works in conjunction with Vegas Inu, by the way. Those are the ones that are extremely cheap to buy and have the biggest potential to break out at some point. There's a lot of news articles about Shiba Inu, and they're very misleading. You have to watch. Like there's one that will say, oh, $1,000 in Shiba Inu will turn you into a millionaire. Yeah, that was back when the coin exploded. Somebody buys $1,000 worth of Shiba Inu back when it was, first introduced. You're going to get trillions of coins, and then when it drops those zeros, yeah, you're going to become very wealthy and fast. There's a lot of misleading titles, so you have to be very careful. And there's no one website for crypto that's going to be, somewhere I can point you to that's going to be 100% truthful on the news. They all have a spin. It's just like normal media. But if you're going to get into it, one of the guys I follow, December DeMarco, as well as another guy called Claybro and another dude called Matthew Perry, they say DYOR, do your own research. And that's important, If you want to take a risk, I have a friend that dumped $10 into Shiba Inu. She has, I don't know, maybe a little over 1 million tokens, right? At the moment, if she cashed out today, she would lose about $14. But if Shiba Inu goes up, and we'll see what happens when the SEC thing finally takes off in January. Even if she cashed out at 100, she made $90. And all she did was throw $10 in and has pretty much ignored it for the last 6 months. And you're saying that's not a lot, but think of it. It's almost like a Christmas club. Remember those when the banks used to do Christmas clubs? They're kind of fun, but just something to look into. But yeah, Vegas Inu is the token. Shiba Inu, Pepe, Volt Inu, Bad Idea AI. Those are some of the ones you might want to look at. The ones that have the potential to, leave a lasting impression. But other than that, have fun, have a great night, and I wish you luck if you try to go with it. Have a good one. Bye.